Rock music has always been loud, fierce, and unapologetic. But behind the power chords and screaming crowds were women who didn't just sing. They fought against a male-dominated industry, fought personal battles, fought to be seen and heard. Today, we uncover the struggles behind the success of 5 iconic female rockers: Stevie Nicks, Pat Benatar, Ann Wilson, Joan, Jett, and Debbie Harry. Their voices shook the world, but their stories will shake your soul. Number 1. Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks looked like a mystical queen, floating across stages in flowing scarves and lace. But behind the dream was a woman who struggled with addiction, heartbreak, and an industry that tried to mold her into someone else. After joining Fleetwood Mac in 1975, success came fast, but so did the chaos. Stevie's romantic relationship with Lindsey Buckingham deteriorated as the band soared to fame. The recording of Rumors, one of the best-selling albums of all time, was filled with tension, betrayal, and emotional collapse. As her solo career rose, so did her dependency on drugs, especially cocaine. At one point, doctors warned her that her nose could collapse. She checked into rehab and later revealed she was also prescribed Klonopin, a drug that left her feeling numb for nearly 8 years. But Stevie didn't quit. She kept singing, kept writing. Her strength wasn't in her image. It was in her will to heal and to keep creating magic through the pain. Number 2. Pat Benatar. Pat Benatar's voice was a powerhouse. Strong, soaring, unmistakable. But her journey wasn't easy. Early in her career, record executives didn't know what to do with a woman who could outsing most men. Born Patricia Andreevsky in Brooklyn, she studied classical voice before turning to rock. When she entered the male-dominated world of hard rock, she was constantly told to tone it down, to look sexier, sound softer. But Pat refused to play by the rules. She made her breakthrough with the hit Heartbreaker in 1979 and followed it up with Hit Me With Your Best Shot, a song that became an anthem for women who refused to back down. Still, her struggle wasn't just with the industry. She fought to keep her marriage and career intact while facing the pressures of constant touring, image expectations, and the fight for creative control. Pat Benatar didn't just sing about strength, she lived it. Number 3. Ann Wilson. Ann Wilson of Heart had a voice that could move mountains. But the world couldn't look past her weight. In an era where image was everything, Ann was judged, criticized, and body-shamed relentlessly. Along with her sister Nancy, she formed Heart in the early 70s. They smashed records with hits like Magic Man, Crazy on You, and Barracuda. But instead of focusing on her talent, the media fixated on her appearance. To protect Ann, early album covers featured her in shadows or cropped shots. She later admitted this broke her confidence. Behind her powerful stage presence, she was struggling with emotional eating, anxiety, and depression. Ann turned to music as her refuge. Despite personal demons, she kept performing, kept writing. She later sought therapy and embraced her truth unapologetically. Ann Wilson showed the world that beauty and power are not measured in inches, but in impact. Number 4. Joan Jett. Joan Jett never wanted to be a girl rock star. She just wanted to be a rock star. And when no one would give her a chance, she created her own. Joan started her career with the Runaways, one of the first all-female rock bands. But they were mocked, misunderstood, and dismissed as a gimmick. After the group split, no major label would sign her. 17 record labels said no, so she said yes, to herself. Joan founded Blackheart Records in 1980, a radical move at the time. She produced her own album and released I Love Rock and Roll, and it became a global hit. But Joan's fight didn't end there. She faced relentless sexism, harassment, and was often seen as too aggressive for a woman. Through it all, she never changed her style, never softened her voice, never apologized for who she was. Joan Jett didn't just rebel, she inspired a generation of girls to stop asking for permission. Number 5. Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry, the frontwoman of Blondie, was the face of punk pop glamour. But her road to fame was anything but glamorous. Before Blondie, Debbie worked as a waitress, secretary, and even a Playboy bunny. Her early years were filled with poverty, heartbreak, and rejection. Even when Blondie made it big, she was seen more as a fashion icon than a serious musician. Debbie constantly fought to be taken seriously as a songwriter and artist. She also endured an abusive relationship with her longtime partner and bandmate, Chris Stein, who later suffered a life-threatening illness that nearly ended Blondie. Debbie was also the victim of sexual assault and never shied away from speaking about it, at a time when most women were silent. Still, she remained strong, sharp, and dazzling. She brought beauty into punk, poetry into pop, and gave the misfits something and someone to believe in. These women didn't just break records, they broke barriers. They weren't handed anything. They earned their place in history with sweat, scars, and soul. Behind the makeup and microphones were stories of pain, courage, and resilience. Stevie, Pat, Ann, Joan, Debbie. They didn't just sing rock, they lived it. If their stories inspired you, leave a comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories of music legends.